the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is a full edition of Follow the Money today on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. On tap today for the next 3 hours in 30 minutes from right now. Thomas Gable, race and sports director at the Borgata. He is in town for Bet Bash, the annual sports betting convention here at Circa. He's going to be along with Richie Baccellieri. We'll go over some college football futures, power ratings, and the future of player props, as well as pro athletes continue to get in trouble with those for some idiotic reason. Lou Finocchiaro on the UFC Best Bets coming up at 6 o'clock Eastern. Steve Wiss, Best Bets in Soccer, back end of today's program. Pauly, what do you make of tonight? Because typically I think on a Thursday, well, moving forward, certainly it's going to be like heavy NFL on Thursdays. No preseason game tonight?
Bad move.
Does that make you mad? Are you just wondering what the hell's going on?
Yeah, both.
What would your typical Thursday be if it was just you at home with Jordan, your awesome dog, and we had one game tonight? Would you just be live betting the entire thing potentially, watching it, really like making notes of the backups? What would you be doing?
Definitely watching it, yeah. And it doesn't matter who's playing. This is a swing and a miss with a light baseball card. Only 2 games tomorrow. Bad job by the NFL.
Yeah, and I mean, so busy on Saturday.
But we have a Monday night game. But that's, yeah.
Okay,
it's disappointing.
Right, so we do have one game in action right now in Major League Baseball. Still scoreless between the Blue Jays and the Cubs as they play now in the 5th inning up in Toronto. The Mariners and Orioles game has been, suspended here for a little while now. They're in the middle of a lengthy rain delay, and the Orioles were pounding the Mariners 5-0. That would be an official game if they actually call it. And at some point, they're going to have to do that because if the rains continue, because it is getaway day here, and the Mariners need to travel and get out of there, obviously. But that will be, meaningful for some if you bet the over in this game, because you're going to get a refund if it doesn't go all the way. And if you had Orioles reverse run line, that kind of stuff. The action that we had from yesterday, I heard an unbelievable stat. I really blew my doors off earlier today on the Dodgers, which I'll give you coming up in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
They're still minus 180 after another blown lead last night by that insane. It's pure insanity whenever they go to the bullpen.
Right.
And blew it again, swept by the Angels one more time. 7 straight now? Mm-hmm. Losses to the team from Anaheim. Padres impressive yet again. That was yesterday live when we were doing the draft here on the show. Dodgers minus 180 to win the division still. And by the way, our buddy Chris Massaro, Pro Better, was hanging with us watching baseball yesterday at Stadium Swim. He had a great point. He goes, because Shohei was only going at first like an inning or two, and they've gradually built it up over time. He goes, that it makes the bullpen for the Dodgers shot for like the entire week. Good point. Never thought of it from him. Mm-hmm. And the bullpen is you can't trust that bullpen as far as I can throw you right now.
Yep, and talking to everyone, and we got the tip jar coming up with Mama's Pizza, the tickets out there on the Padres. Woo! The big ones, National League, World Series, but division. I mean, this is real now that they're in first place. So there's 18-1s out there just on the division, and then 11-1 and 9-1, and just how big of a favorite that the Dodgers were not only last week, but remember 4th of July it was a 9-game lead. So power rating to the moon. Still a good-sized favorite to win it, even though they're a game behind. But 2 big series coming up in the next week, head-to-head. So there's some huge tickets out there on the Padres. And even our guy, Rich. I mean, is this guy living right? Rich in Canada, who's got the Brewers tickets and the Blue Jays tickets. Peekaboo. Oh, by the way, I got some Padres tickets also, which we'll get to come. But this guy has got everything going here with these division bets.
Sure. And I would ask you this. Now, all things are not created equally here, but the Dodgers are in that plus 210, plus 230 range to win the National League, and they have been slumping now for weeks. And I get it, books don't want to adjust too much because then team people are going to come in and bet the Dodgers at a much bigger number. But can you imagine what the number would be on the Dodgers if they were playing like Milwaukee is playing right now?
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean,
good call.
2 different 11-plus game winning streaks since the middle of July, which is unheard of in this sport. And I saw a tweet here from Codified Baseball earlier today. If you go back to June 19th, so not even 2 full months of action in Major League Baseball, The run difference for the Brewers, the run differential is plus 140. The next closest team is Boston, plus 75. They are almost doubling the second-place team in run differential in fewer than 2 months of action right now. And as bad as the Rockies have been pretty much the entire year and in that sample size, the Rockies are negative 131 in run differential since that time. Brewers plus 140. They just outscored the Pirates 33-6. And oh, by the way, that includes a game with Paul Skeens going. I saw a great email, by the way, ftm@vsin.com. If you consider this, it's happened twice to Paul Skeens in his entire career, and it's 40-plus starts now, right? Where he went fewer than 5 innings, gave up 3-plus earned runs, twice. Both starts against the Brewers last 2 months. Like, I can't even imagine, if this was the Dodgers doing this, they'd be minus $2 to win the National League.
And the 2-out Thunder. I mean, during the even if you just say, okay, you guys are so good, you get 2 outs, not 3. They're still averaging more than 5 runs a game during this winning streak.
Oh, that's completely preposterous.
Yeah. Now that's my favorite stat out of all this. Whether it's the 27-4, the sick run they're on, what they're doing offensively, the run differential, what they've done to Skeens. If you just say, okay, you're so good, you only get 2 outs. They'd still be averaging 5 runs a game with what they're doing.
And if you look at numbers like full year, and if you break it down like last couple of months, people are still doubting them. Like, it's a lot of luck going into it, because I've seen tweets on that. Like, it's not going to continue. But they're one of the best teams in baseball in every like major metric. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. Then if you go more mainstream, like the batting average is like at the very top of Major League Baseball. They've been slugging a ton of home runs, and it doesn't matter what part of the lineup you're talking about. Their on base has been phenomenal. They steal, a boatload of bases. Their pitching is basically the best in baseball, with one of the best bullpens as well. So, I've heard this 7 times in the past 3 days. They're peaking too early. Maybe. But you can say that about any team that gets blasted early in the playoffs, because that's been a running thing now for 2 or 3 years.
Yep. So how nuts do you want to get with all this? I mean, we've talked about it with the Cubs, which I'm not there, but do you think the Dodgers could miss the playoffs? That's been thrown out by some people. That is a huge ticket if that happens.
Well, I can't even imagine what that number was a month ago.
It's only 5 games. The Reds are 5 games behind the Dodgers. Now, I know they have a brutal schedule, but if you just go back and look at it, the Dodgers are a 500 team going back months. You go back and look at it, that maybe that's not crazy. The other thing that would help you out is if the Cardinals get their act together.
Yeah.
Which maybe they're just a 500 team and trading people. You just lost at home to Colorado. But that's a couple people threw that out there. I found that interesting. Like, imagine that. If the Dodgers can't even get it done, who knows? Let's revisit that next week if they lose 5 out of 6 to San Diego.
Well, here's why I'm going to say, which is possible, by the way. Here's why I'm going to say no, even though, again, I have a bet on the Reds for most wins in the month of August. It was a super high number. They had a difficult schedule. But I said this on the air, I'm like, they have so many young live arms that I got to have a piece of that big number. They're one back of the Mets right now for that National League final wildcard spot. But they do have, in terms of the last 40 games of the year, which is then, for them anyway, and the end of the regular season, they do have the most difficult schedule remaining in all of baseball. Dodgers have the easiest. So based on that, I just think that the Dodgers will probably win too many games, even if it's on accident.
Well, that's big, too. Look at the Padres' September schedule. There's 7 against Colorado. There's a Baltimore. There's some easy teams in there.
I got it right here. So this is a full season. Mm-hmm. They have 7 more against the Rockies, like you said, 3 White Sox, 3 Orioles, 3 Twins. Just avoid Joe Ryan. You might be good.
And this is big. The final week of the season, they play the Brewers. They might just not even play people.
Oh, could have the 1 seed wrapped up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. And then they also get 4 more against the Giants, which...
They're awful.
I mean, can you believe what's going on with that team?
I know. They lost 12-13 at home. They didn't even put up a fight in that series.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
And then 3 more against,
good enough.
The Diamondbacks.
Yeah, right.
Diamondbacks can be a little tricky, though.
Yeah, right. And then you have the Mets debacle, which...
How bad was that loss yesterday?
How bad was if you bet first 5? 6-0 in the 3rd inning, a 9 spot for Atlanta.
I think that has to be...
The starting pitching has been horrendous.
Yeah.
And they're in trouble now. They're just like right there with the Giants, how bad they're playing.
So all things considered, now from opening day until last night, that's one of the worst losses by any team. Like in the mix for a playoff spot. You get 6 off Carrasco, no problem. Or 5, like bases are loaded, 3 in the first. Guy's a total gas can. Not only can you not hold the lead, it's dunzo, like you said before the game was even half over, and you got blasted in the game. And you got Peterson, who's supposed to be one of your better guys on the mound.
I know. Bad.
Oh.
Yep. 1-0 Cubbies, top of the 6th in Toronto. And Hovland, your round 1 leader in the BMW. Season's biggest edges start before kickoff. Get yours with VSiN Pro. New subscribers get both the NFL and college football betting guides, your 1-2 punch for smart betting, team previews, power ratings, betting systems, and best bets from everyone. The morning email from Bill 80, every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, market insights, dog videos, tools, data, prop analyzer, which you'll love with the NFL, Mackin and betting systems. Sign up today for $9.99 or get 50% off the pro annual plan. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now. Again, every pick. That's Nigel with soccer, Meat Man, whether WNBA, NFL, props, picks, sides, college football. Every ticket cash is the same. VSiN.com.
Yeah, well said. Did you look over your draft from yesterday anymore? Jensen Lewis, high praise for you on X earlier today. Morning show host right here on VSiN. I think he gave you the only A grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this couple tweets. Yeah, I feel good about it. We'll see, though. But that's one injury, it blows up in your face.
Of course.
Come on, Jeff Seeley. Ricky Fowler with a share of the lead.
There you go.
How about that?
That'd be really nice.
Ricky Fowler, 3 under through 12. And Ben Griffin and Jason Day, 1 shot back.
Ricky was no doubt a nice number here for first-round leader.
Good call.
Okay, win-lose up next, and I will tell you about the stat. Saw it today. It blew my mind. It really tells you the story of how bad this team has been in recent weeks.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Marlins, most runs, 25-1. In their blowout win over the Guardians. Brewers, 190 up to 250.
Can I go back for 1 second?
Sure, go ahead.
We missed that one. Well, we didn't do the show yesterday,
I know,
really.
with the Gavin Williams.
Yep.
Yes.
After the near no-hitter.
Yep. Brewers 190 up to 250, 12 wins in a row, and that means free hamburgers for everyone for only the 3rd time in history since they've been doing that promotion. All games to have 2+ runs. No plus 475. Every day offered at DraftKings. Rockies 2-1. Braves plus 180. Angels plus 185. The Rays 125 up to 160. WNBA, the Sun 1.5 up to 4. 1 and covered against the Sky. More on that coming up. And Golden State plus 1.5 to minus 1.5. Cash it. Subscribe, be part of the team. VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. Let's start it off with a big boy. A Royale with cheese. Only $1,000, but our John Malhaffey on X, who's been doing this for a while, he just holds the ace. And it comes Queen, King, 10, Jack of diamonds. The odds?
It was 1 in 178,000, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And he gets it done. And that was just killing time. Love that. Those stories.
He said,
just killing time, and I walk into a Royale with cheese.
I got to check the tweet again. I believe he said 58th single line Royal he's ever hit.
Okay. Interesting. Very good. How about one at Sunset Station? Down the road in Henderson. Got it? Keep them going. There we go. That was Texas Hold'em, I believe, which was $58,000. Those are always fun when you see those carnival games and what can hit. So we talked to our buddy last week or 2 weeks ago about how the card collecting business has exploded. And he thinks it's a lot like sports betting. And in July, collectors spent more than $300 million buying and selling cards online. A record for the 2nd consecutive month.
Oh, my
$300
Lord.
million, okay? Look, let me give you an idea of what you're looking at here. On the left, it's a Roberto Clemente card. On the left, it's graded a 7. It went for $9,000. On the right, it was graded a 9, sold for $1.15 million. Doesn't it look like the same card to you?
So if for the
That's
radio audience, by the way,
unbelievable.
Darren Ravel tweeted this out.
Yeah.
Right? Did he point out? I didn't see this part. Did he point out the differences in the card? Because I looked at the tweet. I'm like, I don't. What am I missing here?
I didn't see that. I think that's part of the point, though. Do you see a difference? One's a 7, one's graded a 9, one sold for $9,000, one sold for $1.15 million.
So the 7 goes from, you're going to go from a really nice weekend in Las Vegas, and the 9 you're going to buy a mansion with it.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
it is. That's but also what our guy told us about how key the grading is, and everything as well. Very good. Everyone thinks they have the best dog, and you're always right though too. Look at this guy. Is that a Rottweiler jumping up and down on the trampoline? And then look at this one. And he does the rollover somersault and everything. Yes, that's great. With the baby. The baby and the dog jumping on the trampoline. And look at this guy having a good time. Rolling over. That's awesome. Love that. Seen some of those before.
He keeps doing
this. I know, he keeps doing it. Won't stop. Yeah, hanging out with the kid. Oh, man. It's like he's never been on it before. And this is a bully. How good looking. Where they adopt the dog, they meet him at the airport, and look at the dog with the baby. Look at this fella, right? The pork chop. What a good-looking pooch.
So, Pauly.
Oh, I'd love, those dogs are awesome. I'd love to own one.
We get so much feedback on the dog videos, like every day, every week.
Look at this guy. How good is this kid?
That's a beautiful-looking dog.
Oh.
Somebody reached out to me recently and said, in fact, they were here. They said, is Pauly serious? Does he want a bully?
I am.
And he goes, I do this for a living.
Oh, really?
He goes, I can get him one. If he really wants to go down this path, I can get him a great bully, no problem, whatever. Boom.
Really?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Look at that mug. Look at that face.
It's like a 10.
It is. Strong. Sean Higgs was on the show last week. I don't know what day it is. We did the Beyond the Booth with him Monday. We just had lunch at Huey Magoo's. He was blown away.
He was.
Couldn't believe how good it was. Absolutely. Loved it. Exceeded his expectations. I can't believe how
Is
good
that
the
right?
chicken
Okay.
fingers were. Yep. And Beyond the Booth, number 4 last night, our guy from Wisconsin, Jeff Webster. The real deal. Great guy. And how about this? He brought a Portillo's gift card and a Culver's gift card.
Yeah.
How great was that?
So it was a blast last night because he and his buddies wanted to quiz us on trivia. And I think it would have been a good match overall. I didn't chime in fast enough on the one regarding Vlade Divac and Kobe Bryant. Here's a little known fact. I would go to war with anybody ever if you want to have a trivia match and I can have Paul Howard on my side.
Yeah.
And it's sports related.
Okay.
I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
You're the best I've ever seen. Paul, no joke.
High praises. Remember we did it and I was drunk on the air?
We did a drunk show. We had to go. Nobody could. We were taking calls live on the air. Pauly's drunk. True story. Many years ago, we had to expand the show by like almost 45 minutes because nobody could stump him.
Yeah.
You're pulling stuff just
anything
like...
goes. And it was any sport.
It was anything.
Goes.
Anything.
It was front row tickets to a UFC event.
Yeah.
If you could stump me.
And Pauly would close his eyes and like give him 5 seconds. I got it! And he'd pull it out of his, it was stunning.
Yeah. All right, my man. That was fun last night. Good. Lose some. Storm plus 1.5 to -3. Look at this now. All tickets cash the same. The Chicago Sky. They've lost 11 of 12. 10 of them are by 9+ points. Ooh. They are getting blown out in most of these games. Giants have lost 12 of the last 13 at home. And bad beats. Mets first 5. Led 6-0. And then the explosion by Atlanta. Before the line moves, sharp plays already there. They just don't follow the market. They help move it. You knock out muscle billion-dollar books of full-time sharps on your own with the sharp plays you don't have to. Powered by advanced AI, plugged into trusted insider sources. Sharp Plays delivers the edge serious bettors use every day. Free reports, real-time alerts, market-moving insights sent straight to your inbox or X feed. Jeff and the crew been doing it since 2011. Been with Follow the Money since day one. Documented results, public logs, transparent receipts, sharpplays.com. Trusted by pros, watched by the books. Visit sharpplays.com. Stay ahead of the line.
If you've been betting against the LA Dodgers lately, you're making a ton of money. I can't imagine what their ROI is, the negative ROI, betting this team every day. If you go back to like July 4th, saw this today, blown away. I knew it was bad, not this bad. So, Pauly, if you go back, in fact, the date is July 3rd, right?
Date is July 3rd.
If you go back
9-game lead, okay.
from then to last night, the Los Angeles Dodgers are 13-21 overall. The same record as the Colorado Rockies.
Now, that's stunning. That's impossible.
I had to read the tweet like 4 times. I'm like, there's no way. Looked at the numbers. I had to look at like 3 different websites. Then I, did the math on my own. I'm like, that true? Checks out.
Yeah.
Holy moly, man.
We'll go back a couple months. I mean, they're a 500 team. So it begs the question, just how good are they? And I know they've had injuries, but it's right around the corner now.
Oh, yeah.
How many guys do you trust in October on that pitching staff? Your comeback could be, but the bullpen sucks. So you can come back and say, well, we'll throw an opener. We patched it together last year. We did it against the Padres, whatever. But the bullpen stinks. And how many guys do you trust in that rotation? And then a lot of these superstars. I know Muncy was hurt, but Betts is having a horrible year. Ohtani had a bad run. Now he's crushing it, though. And suddenly there's some easy outs in that lineup, too. I just think the Padres are a better team. And certainly it's not even close when you look at bullpen. Oh, what a mismatch that is.
And the crazy thing is, like, the Dodgers did so much in the offseason to make sure they had, like, an elite bullpen, guys that they could just trust one right after another and trot them out there. And also, like, if there's going to be a problem with injuries in the bullpen, well, they're going to have enough guys. It's gone the exact opposite way. So they're not injury-proof at all. We thought the depth and what they did in the offseason was remarkable, and one of the reasons why their win total was so sky high.
Yeah.
And then they brought in guys like Blake Snell, and Ohtani at some point was going to be pitching as well. And you're like, oh my God, they are completely loaded. On paper, look great. Actual results, real life stuff, horrible.
The Blue Jays only have 1 hit as we go to the bottom of the 7th. How about this Cade Horton story? He did it again. Now the scoreless inning streak came to an end, 29 in a row, but he gives up 1 run, and they get the big win on the road yesterday.
So
what a revelation!
People have actually reached out to me and said when the Cubs make the playoffs, he's got to go in Game 1.
Really?
I mean, that means he's going to be ahead
at
of
home. If the game, they'll probably be on the road. Okay, fine.
I don't know if I can go that far, but he's also down to like 12-1 at some spots. I think 13-1 to win the National League Rookie of the Year, which that thing has just been.
Yeah. And you brought up Sanchez yesterday.
He wasn't awful.
Okay.
He wasn't awful.
I know, still plus 450. But there was a big move on Skeens. Down.
Yeah.
Skeens went from $6 to minus $2 now.
That's right.
To win.
That's right. All right, up next, Thomas Gable and Richie Baccellieri are going to join the program. Thomas is in charge of the Borgata Sportsbook in Atlantic City. Richie Baccellieri, Sports Gambling Hall of Famer. We will go over football power ratings and futures coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Oh, God.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back as we're live in Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino here on a Thursday. Bet Bash is going on this week, the annual sports betting convention, and we're really looking forward to the next couple of segments here as Thomas Gable joins the program, the man in charge of the race and sportsbook at the Borgata in Atlantic City. And Richie Baccellieri, been in the racket for a long time, Sports Gambling Hall of Famer, both of us in studio for the next half an hour. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Doing well. It's always good to be out here and get to see some of the folks that I only typically communicate over the phone with through the years, and maybe once or twice in person during the year. So it's always good to catch up out here.
Yeah, it's always nice to sit with the 2 greatest sports degenerates I've ever met, and my good friend Tommy from Borgata.
Okay, so here's the plan, what we're going to do in the next half an hour. I can't wait to talk to both of you about player props and what the future might hold with those markets because of what continues to happen with pro athletes getting into trouble with those. Let's start with some college football futures. And Thomas, we'll begin with you. On the East Coast, I can probably take one guess at which team has been super popular because of proximity. That would be Penn State.
Yep.
But overall, like we keep hearing people make the case for Clemson this year. They were very popular in our college football betting guide. We're talking like everything, right? Win total, ACC national title. Has that been the case with you as well?
Absolutely. Clemson right now is probably for national title is our biggest liability right now. It's right there with Penn State. And we always get a lot of Penn State money. There's a lot of alumni. they're such a huge school, so not only spaced out through all of Pennsylvania, but also into South Jersey. So Penn State's always a popular play with us. And but Clemson, I think we opened them around 20-1, and they're down to 9-1 right now for the national title. So they've been taking money pretty much in all the markets you mentioned, and Penn State, the same thing. It's I think this year, as far as I go back with that program, I mean, there's what I would call cautious optimism around that fan base, and I use the word cautious just because of who the head coach is still. But there is optimism, and on paper they look tremendous. They probably have the best backfield in the country, and a rarity these days to have a third-year starter at quarterback in the same program. So, and the defense hasn't. I mean, obviously they lost Abdul Carter, but defense should still be strong, and they picked up a kid from Syracuse at wide receiver who looks pretty good. So I think the Nittany Lions will be there. They've, I guess, fortunately for Franklin, in the past, Penn State was never really at that top tier of college football. They were kind of always, underneath the Ohio States and Georgia's. But this year, on paper at least, they're kind of right there. So there's, I guess, a little bit higher of expectations for them.
Follow up here then and go to Richie Baccellieri on this. You've been doing power ratings, college football, college basketball for long time. Where do those two teams sit amongst like your top 5, top 10, and how would you compare them to some of the best teams from last year?
Well, typically, my best teams with the ratings are in my numbers in the high 60s to very low 70s. And I noticed this year, and I don't handicap like the guys that do, like Tom's talking about. I don't handicap the same way, but looking at the ratings, the top teams are down quite a bit off the top teams from previous years. I don't really see standouts. I mean, Penn State's a mid-60s team for me, whereas Ohio State is a 70. You look at Clemson, Texas, they're all in that mid-60s range, which basically makes any of those games roughly a pick 'em on neutral fields, or a 4 or 5 point dog against the top team from last year. I mean, that's the way I see it. Penn State, you mentioned Franklin, he doesn't seem to, produce in the big games, and you got, Clemson does seem to be up again this year, but that's up over previous down years, so they're getting back to a little bit where they were. Manning's probably a little bit, still uncharted, or where we don't know what we're going to get with Texas. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit more. I hate to use the word parity, but that I kind of see a little bit more, tighter, at the top, and then Nil might have something, something to do with that too.
I'm intrigued by Ohio State because of what happened last year, where they're going to run day out of town.
Right.
And then the talent takes over, and they have the incredible run and win the title. But now they lose both coordinators. Yeah. So what do you think of the Buckeyes?
And Knowles goes to Penn State.
That's another one.
Yeah.
So that was a big pickup for Penn State there to do that within the conference. So, I mean, listen, I still have Ohio State pretty much rated right around Texas, at the top. But to Richie's point, there isn't that those top tier teams that you're used to seeing, and back in when Clemson was Clemson back in the day. I mean, it's they're not anywhere close to that right now.
Yeah. How about that big game Sunday night when Notre Dame goes to Miami? What do you think of those two programs, and what could happen? And maybe if Miami's too high, being ranked 10th.
What do you have that game?
Which Notre Dame at Miami?
Yes.
It's with the home field, probably about a pick 'em. Pick 'em. I don't know what the numbers. I try. I don't look at the numbers until I'm ready to make the prices. What's the number?
I think it's
2.5. I think it's 2.5.
Yeah.
What's your overall, Thomas? What's your overall on those two teams? Or what you think if they're capable of winning it all, or deep playoff run?
Both can obviously, I think, get into the playoffs. Notre Dame, I think right now is maybe priced around 12-1 for the title. Miami, don't know off the top of my head, but I mean, they're both certainly can get into the playoffs, and certainly do some. Listen, I think it's wide open this year. I really do.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I want to ask you about this: the Stanford game playing at Hawaii. Stanford opened up about a 2.5 point favorite. And so it's right around the money line, right? So it's shifted now. Hawaii is either 2.5 points.
Yep.
In fact, I see a 1.5 right now on the screen. Can you tell us like how much money it takes to move a game like that compared to like if you were actually going to be around a key number of 3 or 7, and you would have maybe big movement that would go like a 0.5 point either way?
Well, I think it depends on when bets are being placed. When you get bets that are being placed on a game like that, and Stanford Hawaii is not exactly a marquee matchup,
Right.
But I think earlier in the week you'll see a lot more aggressive line movement. It's both the combination of the bookmakers trying to get to a number that they feel more confident with, and then it's also where the professional bettors might be up to their old tricks and maybe betting for lower limits, kind of moving the number where they want it to get.
Right.
There's always cat and mouse. I mean, I don't think it's really going to take a whole lot to make, to move that game a 0.5 point.
I don't think so either, right? Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's already moved, 5.
Oh, yeah, we have right
Oh,
around
has
there.
it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's Stanford opened 2.5, and now it's Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
2.5. So yeah.
I did, in remembering a little bit about what I handicapped with Hawaii, they seem to be back a little bit. And,
A little bit, yeah.
I think Stanford, they're very down. So, yeah, I do. Yeah, I could see Hawaii being the favorite. They are the favorite?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, they
now
should
they
be.
are, yeah.
Stanford Open. You say I missed one. Stanford Open a road favorite. And
You did miss all
I
that.
missed
All
it.
right, number's gone.
another
But,
loser.
He's gone, yeah.
Loser.
Any interest in the game that starts, really kicks it off for us? I'm super intrigued by it. Iowa State and Kansas State
Kansas
playing
State,
across
yeah.
the pond. K-State as high as 4. That's the number here at Circa.
Yeah, we've actually taken some Iowa State money in that early, so we'll see. I mean, there's not a ton written on that game yet. Probably about the same amount as the Hawaii game right now. But we saw with Hawaii there was definitely early money come in on Hawaii, but as we get closer to game day there, and that's where probably 95% of the handles still to come in, and maybe even more on that.
And so,
That's an interesting. It's an interesting game, and playing in Ireland or England, wherever they're at. Both teams look really good on paper. Iowa State's quarterback, Beck, I believe, is back. The other kid's back too. I think but each team returns a lot of players, a lot of starters. I saw Circus 4, and the market was like 3 late 20, 3.5 the dog. So Circa is the example of the line is up to 4 for a reason. It's Circus because did they take sharp money from people they respect, or did they take sharp money from people that respect giving them the wrong side to get the game up to 4?
There you go.
And I personally, I can't see the 4 neutral at all. I made Iowa State 1.
Oh, you did?
And straight ratings. Iowa State 1 over the other. So I don't play at Circa, and I'm hoping I could grab a 4, but I think it's going to come down.
Quickly here, Thomas, in like 30 seconds. Has it been, I'm guessing, nothing but under money on this Texas-Ohio State game?
Yeah, that's pretty much been it, right?
That's it?
Yeah, it's. I don't know. We'll see, and obviously that's the marquee game, right? To start out the season, where everybody's going to be piling in on. But it's been certainly early under money.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN. The Sports Betting Network will continue with Thomas Gable from the Borgata in Atlantic City, Richie Baccellieri, longtime odds maker, bookmaker, been in this racket for a long, long time. Up next, what does the future of player props look like as pro athletes continue to get into trouble? We'll ask him coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back as we continue here with Thomas Gable from the Borgata in AC, Richie Baccellieri, Sports Gambling Hall of Famer here in studio on a Thursday. Richie, gigantic music guy, listens to it every single day when he's doing his numbers. Probably the biggest Metallica fan I've ever seen. He can't wait for them to come out here to the Sphere. Thomas, are you a big music guy as well?
Yeah. I got to stand with Richie though on his Metallica opinion on that. So I'm not a big Metallica guy.
Oh my God! Is that because you told us a great story in Robert Plant before?
Listen, I'm a much bigger Zeppelin fan than Metallica. So
Absolutely.
sorry, but listen, He did tell me at dinner the other night that he is open to seeing Metallica if they play the Sphere. So I think you two need to get together and go to that if that happens. So.
I would do it for a little while. I'd go in for a few minutes and then leave.
For a few minutes.
Yeah, what an unbelievable comment.
Oh, my Lord.
Unbelievable comment. No desire to see U2 or Eagles, though?
No U2, no Eagles. But you give me Waters and Gilmore at the Sphere, I'll go every night. Page and Plant, same thing. They'd make $1 billion. I don't know why they're not doing it. This whole world is based on money. They make $1 billion. Those two.
How much do you think Metallica will make?
Yeah, okay.
Metallica's going to probably do pretty well too. They're going to, a lot of fans out there of Metallica. Judas Priest for me. Thank you.
Get out.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so you two are maybe the perfect guests to ask about this. The current state of all these, and I can't believe we've gotten to this point. I'm sure you two are in the same boat. I mean, more players getting into trouble. With the Cleveland Guardians bullpen. Class A almost won the Cy Young last year. Could have if Skubal actually got yanked like his manager talked about in the middle of August. And now he's done. Clear out the lockers. We'll see you later. Ortiz, same thing. Is the pitch going to be a ball or a strike to begin? And now, what do you think? Are player props going to go bye-bye like completely in the next couple of years?
Well, I think it's a nuanced discussion around player props in general, right? Because there's certainly a push out there with college player props. That's one piece of the equation, and I get it. If these kids are being subjected to, abuse online and social media, obviously that's an issue for sure. And but in terms of what you just brought up with this baseball and the micro betting, that's something we don't. I don't offer micro betting. It's but there is a way to offer those types of props. I mean, Richie, you said you were doing first pitches back in 2005 at the Palm. So I mean, there is a way to offer these types of markets where you're not betting on every single pitch, and people can still get that quick fix and a quick result that they want. So I mean, tell them what you were doing back then.
Yeah.
We were booking in-game wagering at the Palms in 2006 and 7, and we were manually setting all the odds up in the back in our back office. And the first pitch was an easy one to do. And you book it 3-sided. It's a ball, it's a called strike, or it's any other outcome. And you could basically put the juice in the way you want. 8%, 9%. Nobody was doing it back then. So, that was a popular wager because you had a chance to make the bet. You didn't have to rush. It's not every pitch. Batter walks up to the plate. Boom. Bet's over. Now the guy's got another 30 seconds or a minute to think about it for the next batter. First pitch is a beautiful sports wager that 75. I don't know how many plate appearances there are in a game. 75 plate appearances. 75 nice bets every minute or two. I like the first pitch. I don't think they should consider. Well, I don't think they should consider the regulators shouldn't say you can't do this and you can't do that because they might fix it. You might as well just close sports betting.
Yeah,
now,
so you've heard that. You can't bet stuff under.
Well, yeah, you can't bet it under. Now, Pauly knows.
Yeah.
Pauly knows he's bringing this up because my blood pressure's starting to rise. He's smiling. They probably got a price on how high the systolic goes. I know you got to bet on it, but
just on the over though. We're not offering the under.
Right. We're talking about you can only bet the over. How ridiculous is that? How unfair is that? That a sportsbook can say, "Oh yeah, he's going to hit over 2.5 triples today, and I'm going to give you 3-1." I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. So no, I don't think the regulators should get involved with whether or not the integrity of a bet is valid. They should go after the leagues. The leagues need to enforce, what their players are doing. The regulators need to be on the leagues, not the operators. And believe me, I'm no fan of the operators, the Euro stuff or the online stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, but they need to go after the leagues and not the operators.
Yeah, so how much do you know? And this is almost 20 years ago now. Like, do you remember what you were offering bettors? Like could they get down a nickel on the first pitch?
I think it was like 300 or a nickel.
Okay.
I think that was about the limit.
Fast forward to today. Think about this. It's actually worth it for these guys who are making potentially millions of dollars to say, you know what, that sounds good to me. I'm in.
That's the problem because that's the bookmaking style that's out there where, you have guys who are, achieve VIP status at some of these
Right.
places and can get down obscene amounts on a prop of that nature. And, nobody else in their right mind is going to take it. But if these accounts are set up to do that, then that's where it comes in.
We've been booking props for years in Nevada. We never had any issues like this for a lot of reasons. One, they're not publicizing that these props are out there. They're not on the TV. Now you can watch a game and you can see what the parlay is going to pay on something and on an in-game wager. There was none of that. The limits were all very reasonable, but yet not too high to where you're going to get beat. You almost posted props way back when, thinking you're probably going to lose to them because somebody knows more than you. So props are not the problem. Players, influencers, whether for people going under the table trying to get something like these pitchers or the NBA guys. So
I had a beer or two with another guy who's been in this racket, an odds maker, last weekend. We were talking about this. Been doing this for a long, long time. He said, no doubt these players have gambling debts, and this is their way to get out of the hole. Would you agree with that?
I
mean, it's pure speculation.
I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of guys that got gambling debts, and none of them play pro sports. So, I mean, I guess it's possible.
Well, we can revisit this later. The Michael Porter comment in an interview a couple of days ago about help my buddies out. They can win $10,000 here if I just leave with an injury. It's like you're risking everything. What are you talking about?
Well, it's also too, even if they don't themselves have gambling debts or gambling problem, who knows if their inner circle, hey, I need to pick up a couple thousand here. Can you help me out tonight and do this? So we've had this discussion before. There's been fixes and everything else that's going on for forever in every form of gambling that there is, not just sports. And there's always going to be people trying to cheat. And now it's just there's a lot more eyes on this, and obviously with the increased eyes on it, there's increased media attention, and that's what driving a lot of this conversation right now.
It's a good thing it doesn't happen in the stock market.
Very good. Can you share the Temple story in 2 minutes?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's still ongoing and part of the investigation that's out there. But this goes back to not last season; it was the prior season with Temple, and right before the conference tournament started, right at the regular season ending, and the story's out there. It's been reported pretty much everywhere. So, and we saw unusual activity coming in on that game, and at one point we were probably 2.5 points above market and still getting bet, and it was like, all right, now it's time to take it off the board and report this. And then when you watch the screen after that, it just kept going higher and higher, and lo and behold, now it's obviously a big part of this investigation that's going on. But we at least made that guy sweat it out a little bit. We didn't grade the game right away, and even though the outcome was set, we made him a little nervous.
How about all the kids with the first halves the last couple of years?
And it could have been
not throwing the games; they're throwing the first halves.
Yeah. And Temple, Temple games were certainly a part of that as well with in those first halves. So. At some point the investigation will be wrapped, and I guess everything will come out and as to what actually occurred with that. So,
wasn't that like one of the things that came out of the investigation, Pauly, recently? It was like some obscure college basketball game, and the book was letting this group of guys get down like 70,000 or more on a first half.
Yes,
like,
that's
what
the
the hell is that?
I mean, a lot of those games that the schools that Richie likes to bet, that are the added games. It doesn't take much to move those numbers to begin with when you take bets, but
70,000 on first halves. You don't have to say anything more than that.
That's all you need to know.
There's
there.
your problem. Well, it's again the ineptness of what we see in the industry today. Is that this happens? They don't know any better. 70,000. He's a square. Oh yeah, he's a square betting 70,000 on Arkansas Little Rock first half. For all Roberts. He's a square. You don't know nothing. Hey, let him bet. I look at his account. He's a losing player. Come on. They got to smarten up out there, Pauly. Good job. And I think only you could do it.
Like Tommy said, right? On those teams that you like to get dirty with, right?
Yeah. In the trash. In the trash.
In the trash.
It's basketball.
Yeah.
The football's great because when you're watching the game, Yale, you see the car driving along the back, in the end zone. The car guy's going for a pass.
Gents, that was great. Have a good week, okay?
All right, thank you.